Top of the morning to you guys. Grab yourselves a pint of Guinness and get yourselves ready for another movie review. Okay, that's enough of that. Hey there guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my movie review series. So, this is a movie that I was recommended a few weeks back by Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News. Shout out to him. On one of, I believe it was either his stream or Johnny Boy's stream, I can't remember. They recommended I watch this movie. And it's a movie I'd never heard of before, weirdly enough. And it's an interesting one because this is a Disney movie. It was a movie released in, I believe it was 1959 this movie came out, so it's a very, very old movie. And it's a bit weird that I got recommended this movie when I did, because not that long before then, I saw that movie Artemis Fowl, which was another Disney movie that came out this year, which was another movie based in Ireland, which had the similar sort of stuff like leprechauns and fairies and shit, you know, the similar sort of mythology. And that movie was flat out garbage. I mean, if you guys haven't seen that, Artemis Fowl, I mean, it was, like I said, it came out early this year. It was another Disney movie, and that was dog shit garbage. It was so bad, I don't even know how to put it into words. But this movie from 1959, this movie's actually pretty damn good. I watched this movie earlier today, and I loved every minute of it. I really enjoyed it. It's a fairly short movie. It's only about an hour and a half, give or take. It's a movie that's well acted. It's a movie that's well made. And one thing I will say about this movie right off the bat, I mentioned that movie Artemis Fowl, which, again, the only reason I'm comparing it to that is because that's a movie that is also a Disney movie and also a movie based in Ireland. And that movie came out this year. What's shocking to me and what's really, really funny to me is if you look at this movie, right, from 1959, this movie actually has better special effects, right? It has more practical, real-life effects, real-life sets. It's a more authentic and realistic-looking movie than the movie that just came out in in 2020 with something like $120 million budget. I mean, that's crazy to me. It blows my mind how some of these older movies from the 1950s and shit can look so much more realistic and so much more authentic than modern day big budget Hollywood blockbusters. So it stars Albert Sharpe as Darby O'Gill. He's an old caretaker working for some rich lord, tending to his gardens and whatnot. And basically he's about to be replaced by a younger man, played by a very young Sean Connery. Sean Connery's in this movie. This is kind of the early part of his career, when he was just getting big, and he does a really good job here. It was cool to see Sean Connery in the movie. Basically, one thing leads to another, and Darby O'Gill ends up getting himself captured by a bunch of leprechauns, and he tricks the king of the leprechauns, King Brian, into letting him go. He basically plays him a song and gets them all riled up and gets them to go out hunting, and he manages to escape their mountain. I know already the plot sounds batshit crazy. If it sounds like it's batshit crazy, it's because it is. This is an insane movie, but I loved it. It was really funny. And yeah, he escapes from the leprechauns. He then decides to have a drinking game with the king of the leprechauns, and he sort of outwits and uses his wile and his experience to trick this guy into granting him 3 wishes, because sometime in the past, you know, before this has happened, he granted him 3 wishes already, but because he asked for a 4th wish, they had some kind of rule where it overturned all 3 wishes, so he wished for a pot of gold and he never got it and whatnot. And yeah, he manages to trick the king of the leprechauns into granting him 3 more wishes, and rather than wish for gold and wealth and all that other shit, he basically wants to use this as an opportunity to set his daughter up with a good man who's going to take care of her and whatnot. And it's a batshit crazy plot. It's insane, but it's really funny. And like I said, this is a really good movie. It's a really well made movie. They do have a bit of classic Disney romance. You know, there are some singing scenes, like they have a romantic subplot between Sean Connery's character and Darby O'Gill's daughter. I forget the name of the woman who played Darby O'Gill's daughter. Was it Janet Munro or something like that? You know, she was a good-looking girl, and yeah, her and Sean Connery have a relationship, and there's a bit of drama there. You know, they kind of bicker and argue here and there, but yeah, it's about trying to set them up together and whatnot, and it's a funny movie. That's what I will say. The movie's got some great comedy. You know, the banter and dialogue back and forward between Darby O'Gill and King Brian. Those are the best scenes of the movie, particularly the scenes where they're just getting shit-faced drunk and trying to have a like a singing competition. It's really, really funny, man, and the dialogue is very, very it's very, very thick Irish accents, and there's lots of slang in the movie and lots of really, really funny back and forth, and I just really enjoyed it, man. Another thing I found quite funny though is in regards to the acting. Sean Connery in the movie is supposed to be from Dublin, yet weirdly enough the guy has a very, very strong Scottish accent. Like, he's not even trying to sound Irish, and part of me wonders whether that was done on purpose. I don't know why, because they like literally didn't even try. You know, he just has the same, I must ask you a question. Like, he's Sean Connery in this movie. He has the same accent in every single movie, and that's one of the things I find funny about Sean Connery, is no matter what movie he's in, I mean, even in movies where he plays a Russian, he still sounds Scottish, and that's what I find funny about it, man. And I thought that was worth pointing out here. So yeah, that's one of the things about this movie that just had me in stitches. And yeah, the movie I mentioned earlier, how well made this movie is. One of the things that impressed me was the special effects. Some of the scaling effects, like when Darby O'Gill is in the middle of a mountain, and there are all these little people dancing around him, and he's playing the playing the fiddle, you know, to get all these leprechauns to dance, and they're all jumping over water and doing all these funny rehearsed dance routines and all that, and it genuinely looks real. That's the funny thing about it, because it's all practical. Because this movie was made in the 50s, they obviously didn't have CGI, and they didn't have a lot of the modern day effects that they have now, you know, all the computerized effects. So they had to do a lot of this on location. They had like handcrafted real life sets, and you know, like scenes where, for example, the scene where him and Brian are just sitting together talking and drinking, and he hands him a cup, and you see it sort of does a cut where he's sitting there holding the cup and drinking it, and it looks so real. Like, you genuinely buy that this is a big dude with a little leprechaun sitting talking to one another, and it's all done without any CGI or without any you know, over the top effects, and it's all practical, is what I like about it. It looks really good. Later in the movie they try to work in a few like light-hearted scares. Like, for example, they have like a banshee, which you know, you hear that the banshee made Darby O'Gill's wife disappear or whatever, and now he thinks that the banshee's going to take his daughter, and there's a bit of like a bit of melodrama towards the end of the movie, which was alright. I didn't really mind it. And as far as the ending goes, it has a very like happy and very, very classic Disney style ending. You know, everything's happy, everybody's together, and it was a very, very uplifting and positive ending to the movie. I don't really know what else to say about this movie. Again, it's a very old movie, it's very dated, but I think it looks really good for the time, if I'm being honest. And like I said, I mean, this movie looks better than some Disney movies from 2020, so that's something to think about, and it's quite impressive. There's a fight scene towards the end of the movie between Sean Connery and this asshole guy who is like trying to get his job and who assaults him earlier in the film, and that kind of is foreshadowed throughout the film. They have a few like near altercations, and then towards the end of the film they just have a proper like barroom brawl, and it's quite a good action scene actually. That was pretty good. And yeah, that was a good fight scene, and it kind of foreshadowed Sean Connery becoming like an action star for the next 40 years or so, because obviously he went on to be a very, very successful action star in James Bond movies and other movies and whatnot. So yeah, I don't even know, is Sean Connery still acting these days? I don't think he is. I think, if I remember rightly, the last time I heard him doing anything acting wise was he voiced James Bond in one of the video games. I think one of the I can't remember whether it was From Russia with Love. I've got that game. I'm pretty sure he voiced himself. He reprised his role in that game, and I don't think he's done anything since then. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. I don't have anything in front of me, but I'm pretty sure the last movie he was in was it was that movie, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I think it was. You know, I think he was in that movie, and then he retired, but he did come back to do a voiceover for the video game. But yeah, other than that, I don't think he's done anything in recent years. So it's a shame. But yeah, it was nice to see Sean Connery in one of his earlier roles, like when he was still a young guy, and again, that fight scene at the end kind of foreshadowed the type of roles that he played in the future, because I don't recall him ever doing a movie like this since. I mean, this wasn't his, this wasn't what he was known for. But yeah, nonetheless, I think this was a really good movie, man. I really enjoyed it, and it's a movie that, again, it's like classic Disney. It's from back in the day when Disney movies were like magical, and they were so enchanting and fun, and they had good music and good people, and the characters are all jolly and likable. Like Darby O'Gill in the movies, he just oozes charisma. Like he's like an old drunken Irishman, that you just could sit and listen to for hours. Really, really funny and charismatic character, and I thought it was awesome, man. So got really no criticisms of it, if I'm being honest. I mean, there was a little bit of technical issue towards the end of the movie. Like I noticed that some of the lip syncing was off and stuff like that. Like particularly a couple of Sean Connery's lines in the movie. There was just problems with the ADR. But I don't really have any major issues with it. I think it's a solid movie. I totally recommend it. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, if you guys are looking for something to do and you happen to come across this cheap, check it out. It's fun. It's a good laugh. It's a good movie to sit and have a pint of Guinness and just laugh your head off, man. It's a funny movie. I really enjoyed it, and it's classic Disney. So yeah, let me know what you guys think anyway. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more movie reviews. Thanks for watching. God bless.